Yo, what's the word, boys? Welcome back. It's time to talk about every single potential UFC double champion fight that could be made in the near future, and we're going to be ranking them from worst to best. We have 5 in this video, and drop in the comments if you want a part 2 with different double champion fights that could happen. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Without further ado, let's get into it. So as I said, we have 5 fights we're going to be talking about today and ranking them from worst to best in terms of excitement, the fight itself, all that. So we're going to be talking about Alexandre Pantoja versus Merab Dvalishvili, Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, crazy fight, Belal Muhammad versus Dricus Du Plessis for the middleweight title, and then Alex Pereira is so cool, he gets 2 fights, Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones, or in a different reality, Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall, ranking them from 5 to 1. My number 5 is, you guys probably expected it, I do have Dricus Du Plessis versus Belal Muhammad for the middleweight championship at number 5. In terms of excitement, it's probably the lowest on the list, even though this would be an insane fight. Like, all these fights would be insane, but you know, the community don't really like Belal Muhammad. They don't really care to see him fight. Dricus Du Plessis isn't, you know, the crispest striker and most technical guy in the world. So I don't think this fight would be the best double champion fight. But of course, it would still be insane. I feel like the stylistic matchup between the two would be very funky. Does Belal really implement his wrestling, cardio, pressure game plan against Dricus Du Plessis? Or does Du Plessis win by, you know, falling piano or banana peel slip? I don't know. It'd still be a very interesting fight. If I had to pick one, I'm not too sure, because it's funny. This fight is kind of getting talked about in the media a little bit. Belal is very unimpressed with Dricus Du Plessis' last performance against Sean Strickland last week. Belal thinks he could win. Dricus will probably just, like, shoo him off, if that makes sense. But the reason I have it at the bottom is both of guys are not the biggest names in the world. Both of them aren't, you know, going to sell crazy pay-per-views. There probably won't be a crazy finish in this fight. It won't be overly exciting like the fights we have next up. So I think this is a clear number 5, Dricus Du Plessis versus Belal Muhammad. But come on, I would still love to see this fight. And guys, I just said it, but click the subscribe button. I want to get to 10K. I'll be posting more banger videos like this, fun ranking videos, tier lists. Come on, click the subscribe button. At number 4, we have Merab Dvalishvili versus Alexandre Pantoja for the bantamweight title. And if you haven't realized already, this is everybody going up a weight class, if that makes sense. This fight would be awesome. This fight, I feel like, is a tier above Belal and Dricus, because you have 2 guys with pretty similar styles, great grapplers and wrestlers with pretty damn good cardio, especially Merab. They're pressure-heavy guys. Alexandre Pantoja is absolutely a top 3 chain grappler and wrestler we have in the UFC, but is Merab too big? I'm not too sure. Does his cardio and just his physicality overwhelm Alexandre Pantoja? Will Pantoja be able to do much on the feet? Because both of these guys aren't the cleanest strikers in the world. They're not, you know, going out there and Alex Pereira-ing everybody. That's not the case. So they have pretty similar styles. I would love to see this fight. I think the matchup is very, very intriguing. What happens on the feet? Is it kind of just a stalemate? Who wins in the grappling department? Because absolutely Alexandre Pantoja is the more technical grappler with his submissions and all stuff like that. But Merab has just the physicality. This man's not human. Somebody sent this man to earth because he has overpowered cardio, overpowered pressure. It's a cheat code. He is a literal cheat code. So can Alexandre Pantoja, a guy who looks damn near unbeatable in the flyweight division, go up and beat a force in Merab Dvalishvili? If Pantoja can do that, if he becomes double champion somehow, beating the bantamweight GOAT, because Merab is the bantamweight GOAT in my opinion quite clearly, Alexandre Pantoja at that point is throwing his hat into top 5 discussions all time. He really is. But he won't get that respect because he is a flyweight and his name is not Demetrius Johnson. But when you look at Pantoja's resume, he's lapping the flyweight division. He's beaten some fantastic names, and say he claims 2 belts? Come on, man. He's top 5. I'm just saying, he's top 5. Now, who do I think would win this fight? I'd probably go with Merab Dvalishvili. Of course, Alexandre Pantoja is the more skilled fighter, but when you look at just everything from a, you know, an outside point of view, I gotta trust Merab in this fight. The physicality is just ridiculous. I would pick Merab by decision or late round ground and pound TKO. And for the first fight, Dricus versus Belal, I'm going to go Dricus. I think his gas tank will be able to hold up against Belal's. Both very good. Dricus has the physicality, and I think he'll be able to just hold off the takedowns of Belal, maybe find a little bit more success in the middle of the octagon. But this is a very close fight. Wouldn't be surprised if Belal Muhammad gets it done. But at number 3, what do you guys think I have? I have Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira. Now, I do think this fight is better and maybe more competitive than Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira, but the reason I have this below it is because the name value. Seeing Jon Jones and Alex Pereira in the same octagon, even if it's a little bit of a worse fight, would be so crazy. The spectacle would be so large. That's why I have it above this one, but come on. This you could argue that was a bad starter. This you could argue is the best fight in UFC history. Alex Pereira, a lot of people discredit him when talking about heavyweight. Oh, he can't do much in heavyweight. Everybody would ragdoll him and destroy him. He's not too strong. He doesn't have the wrestling. Now, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I would pick Tom Aspinall by first round finish, but Tom Aspinall's been clipped in the past. I wouldn't say rocked, but people have touched him up when he's entering the pocket. Alex Pereira is maybe the best counter striker we've seen in UFC history. That left hook. I mean, come on. You saw how easily Alex Pereira knocked out Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland was eating flush head kicks all weekend. That man was having head kick. He was eating that shit. Alex Pereira knocked him out with like one punch. But I know it's heavyweight. It's 2 weight divisions higher. Tom Aspinall is an absolute unit. But you never know. Alex Pereira can do something crazy. And if he becomes a 3 weight division champion, I mean, come on. Greatest MMA fighter of all time. Greatest combat sports athlete of all time. Greatest everything. But Tom Aspinall is going to win this fight. He'll throw the 1-2. Lots of, head movement, bob and, weaving, bouncing on his feet. Maybe he'll fake a level change, go upstairs with the 1-2. I think Tom Aspinall controls this fight. I think he does what he wants with Alex Pereira to Alex Pereira. And on the ground, a lot of people disrespect Tom Aspinall's game, which is crazy. This man's elite on the ground for heavyweight standards. You see what he did to Alexander Volkov. No ordinary heavyweight does that. But I also will give credit to Alex Pereira. This man off of his back is underrated. Nobody talks about him. His wrist control is good. He stays safe. He doesn't get, he doesn't get hit with ground and pound. This will be an awesome matchup. It will be super exciting. Crazy pay-per-view. I mean, I'd be so hyped. And you're telling me this wouldn't be like the biggest fight in UFC history? This would be the biggest, best fight, anything you want to call it. This fight would be insane. Alex Pereira going up for his 3rd belt. That would be incredible. Incredible against a guy who is, you could argue, the best heavyweight we've ever seen. This fight would be insane, but it's got to be at number 3 because the ones at 2 and 1 are just ridiculous. But at number 2, I just talked about it. I do have Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira. I won't talk about this fight for too long because I kind of talked about it beforehand. We just mentioned Alex Pereira. But the reason I have this above the other one, as I said, is the spectacle. This fight would be the biggest fight in UFC history. I think it would sell more pay-per-views than McGregor Habib. I think it would be just insane. This is something that could really, push boundaries for the UFC. I mean, just think of the narrative. You have the greatest UFC fighter of all time. Now, I wish Tom Aspinall in this scenario didn't exist because he's always just looming, oh, why is Jon Jones not fighting him? But that's besides the point. You have the greatest fighter of all time. The GOAT, Jon Jones. Easily the greatest of all time. And then you have a man, Alex Pereira, who is a crazy rising star, arguably the best striker we've ever seen, and he's going for 3 damn world championships. This fight would be ridiculous. I don't know how many times I've said ridiculous for this one fight, but it's ridiculous. Jon Jones would win. I'm not saying he wouldn't. Now, Alex Pereira could catch him with something. Jon Jones isn't the fastest man in the world at heavyweight. Stipe was getting a little close. Stipe was getting a little close to hitting Jones because Jones would kind of just like duck and run away. If Alex Pereira times up his distance management and lands some sort of head kick, I'm just saying, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But at the same time, Jon Jones is known for having some of the best defensive striking in UFC history. His distance management is elite. Everything about his defensive striking is elite. And his grappling, arguably the best in the UFC in the history of the company. I think he gets Alex Pereira down. I think the skill advantage, I think he gets him down and submits him. But regardless, this fight would be remarkable. I don't care that Tom Aspinall is the best heavyweight in the world. I want to see this. I want to see this. But at number 1, the best fight, not even remotely close, the best fight in UFC history, not even close. It's Ilia Topuria or Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria for the lightweight championship. You have 2 guys who I think are the best in the world. You have 2 guys who maybe have the best skill sets we've ever seen going at it. Ilia Topuria knocked out Volk and Holloway in a row. My camera's about to die. I'm about to make this quick. Insane power, extremely well-rounded. You have Islam Makhachev from Russia, seems unbeatable. You know, beating all types of legends. 2 insane forces clashing. The best fight in UFC history. The stylistic clash would be insane. And I have a hot take. I think Ilia Topuria wins. Islam Makhachev is a counter striker. He'll, take his steps back. If Ilia Topuria closes the distance and gets in the pocket, it's game over, man. It's game over. You can't let this man hit. He's got ridiculous power. He's unbelievably accurate. The best boxer in UFC history. I don't need to explain how insane this fight is. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And if you want me to do a part 2, and we'll have fights like Islam Makhachev, Bilal Muhammad, etc., let me know. Like, subscribe. Peace out.